Let's see. Sabine, could you read the first question for us?
If a major news event happened in the world, how would you access the news? For example, would you read a newspaper or would you have the news from the internet? Explain your thinking with a specific example if you have one.
Okay. So for the first step, I want you to just brainstorm. If a major news situation occurs, where do you find the news? How do you access the details of the information? You can even think of something local. If something here in Portland happens and it's big and major and you want to find out the details, where do you go to find your news? I'm going to have you do some thinking and writing. We'll take about 4 minutes. If you have a specific situation that you can think of, go ahead and write about that specific situation. Okay? Any questions? Okay. Go ahead and take 3 or 4 minutes to do some thinking.
Oh, thinking.
Yep, thinking and writing. Yep, sorry. Thinking and writing for step 1. It could be local, it could be a world event, it could be international news. Yep. Where would you access the nation? And then she started naming some names of people who were involved. She was giving me more information, and I said, where are you accessing your news? What resource are you using? And she said Facebook. I was using Oregon Live, she was using Facebook. Does anyone else have sort of an example or a situation? Or do you remember during the lockdown, and did you use a particular news source? Jasmine?
Yeah, so during the lockdown, my class was kind of confused because we didn't know what was going on, and Miss Pamela, she didn't know what was going on. So we just went to Facebook, and that's when, other students were talking about the lockdown and what happened, and that's how we kind of figured it out.
Yeah. Okay.
People sharing posts.
Sharing posts, okay.
I know that one of the kids in my classroom, in my search classroom, with Miss Clifton, they were talking about, they were looking at the Foxtrot website.
Okay.
And they were doing like every 30 minutes a new update.
Right, new updates every 30 minutes, right? And how about this Facebook updates? How long did those take?
Probably like every minute. I have like thousands.
Yeah, so like, right, within seconds, we were getting updates through Facebook. CNN and Oregon Live, I think I got them every like 10 minutes or so. I was getting an update. Okay?
They were like confident as soon as they found something else.
Sure. Yeah, sure. So if we can kind of just look here, we've got so CNN, Fox 12, Oregon Live as one category. And then we've got Facebook, Snapchat. I would add maybe like Instagram in our second category. How would you classify or sort of name these two?
Social media.
Tumblr, excellent, yes I should. Okay. Good, social media. And how would you define the left-hand column?
Like news websites?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You got it. So I'm going to actually give you the exact terms that they use for the SBAC test. They're saying these, they're calling traditional news sources. And then they're now calling the social media and whatnot non-traditional news sources. Okay. Traditional and non-traditional. That's going to be important that you just remember those two terms because they're going to reference those terms on your test. Okay? Yep, so traditional, you can think sort of like the grandparents, you know, back in the day, they'd watch the news, eat their dinner, right? And
Turn on
now,
the radio.
Yeah, news radio, right. Now, non-traditional is what we're in the middle of now. We access news using social media, okay? All right, so I've shared with you a little bit from the activity that the state has given to us. They've given us a little bit of text to read, and the key words that are bold and italicized, these are terms that they want you to be familiar with going into the test. So we're going to read this, and then afterwards I want you to just ask me if any of these terms feel unfamiliar, or if you want to clarify any of these terms. The goal is to feel comfortable with the words that are bold and italicized. Jasmine, would you mind reading that paragraph for us?
Media is our main means of mass communication. Television, radio, newspapers, and the internet are all types of media. Traditional news sources are print media, such as newspapers, and broadcast media, such as radio and television. Non-traditional or digital news sources are things like social media and internet sources. Social media is the websites and applications used for social networking, which is the use of dedicated websites and applications to communicate informally with other users, or to find people with similar interests. Sometimes people refer to traditional news sources as old or mainstream media, and non-traditional news sources as new media.
Okay, great. These terms here that are in bold, do you feel comfortable and familiar with these? Any questions? Okay, good. All right, so let's go ahead and flip over. So now, we're going to do just sort of some comparing and contrasting the traditional versus non-traditional. And what I'm going to have you do is just do a few minutes of thinking first at your table groups. So let's just label, and we'll keep consistent. So we had traditional on the left. Okay, traditional and non-traditional on the right.
What exactly are we doing?
Yes, good question. So words that would describe traditional news sources, okay? So words that relate to traditional, or characteristics of traditional and characteristics of non-traditional. And then if there's something that they share, if there's an overlap, put it in the center. Why don't we do a couple together, and then I'll have you do some as a group, okay? So how would you describe a traditional news source?
Been used for years.
Okay.
Popular.
Okay, so yeah, so popular, and if it's popular, lots of people believe that it's what? Okay, that it's valid or trustworthy. That's great. Good. How would somebody describe non-traditional using social media?
Thank you.
Fast.
Okay, great. Fast.
Easy.
Good. Easily accessible.
It's new.
It's new. Rebecca, what did you say?
It said it's not always accessible
Okay.
for a lot of people.
Not always accessible for a lot of people. Okay. It's easily accessible if you have the internet. If you don't, you're right, you can't access it. That's very true.
Like if you don't have a smartphone.
If you don't have a smartphone. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay. That is very good. To those with the technology. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay. How about a way that they're similar?
They can both be accessed through technology.
Okay, yeah, they can both be accessed through technology. So I can check Oregon Live on my smartphone. I can check Facebook on my smartphone, right? I don't have to go to the corner and buy a newspaper to check a traditional news source. Good. Okay, so both. Yeah, accessible by the internet. Okay, that's good. If you would, take a couple minutes, talk at your table groups, and add to this chart. Maybe just 2 minutes. Yeah, Jasmine. Yeah. Yep, no problem. Okay, just about 2 minutes, and then we'll come back together and we'll make sure we all have